Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish. It is the Daily Dish. And all I know is it's Wise Women's Wednesday. And this is when I expect to see wise women. And here they are. Catherine is in the house. Thank you. She enjoyed the webinar last night. Have you seen it? It's easy. Go to savingdinner.com/sprint. That's where you're going to get it. And listen, I'm a wee bit on fire about that. I'll talk to you all about that shortly. Sandy's in the house. There's my mother hen. Hi, Nancy. Good to have you here. Hello, Jackie. Everybody's coming on down. I certainly love that. Today we got a little rock and roll situation going here on some stuff that I really am excited to share with you today. And the thought occurred to me, and this is a good one, that every day that we wake up, we have an opportunity to turn the page for a new day, a new opportunity, a new way of thinking, a new everything. Every day can be January 1st if we choose to have it be that way. So I'm going to talk to you today a little bit about that, about putting things in perspective. And like you saw on Monday, how we talked about fixed mindset versus a growth mindset, how we can weave all of that stuff in. I think it's a good way for us to get in the middle of the week and really get some things done. So Deborah's in the house. Hello, Deborah. It's good to have you here. You ready to get going? I am. First of all, though, have you seen our supplement drop? Do you know we have 9 ingredients in this, plus a botanical proprietary blend? Every single thing that is in this supplement is going to hit some aspect of your blood sugar and bring it down. Now, here's the thing. You are pre-diabetic if your fasting blood sugar is 100 and over. And you are diabetic if it's 120. If you are in the 80s, you are in a good place. 89 is basically like kind of the bottom optimal place. But you want to see it like in the mid 80s when you are fasting. This is why we practice fasting and all that time in between, so that we can readjust our blood sugar levels and we can get that back to where it needs to be, right? That's exactly what this supplement does. And if you don't have this, and if you've ever suffered with, high blood sugar, or you've tested it before, or your doctor said, hey, you got to be careful, you're pre-diabetic, girlfriend, for real, go to savingdinner.com/show. If you buy 3, you'll get one absolutely free. This is the bomb. I'm super proud of this supplement. It took us months to get it on for you. So here it is. This is the first time it's supplement of the week. Go stock up. I'm taking this and my blood sugar is in the 80s. I'm still taking it. Our blood sugar changes as we get older and it gets higher as we get older. We can mitigate that with good supplementation. That's exactly what Drop does. Just saying. savingdinner.com/show. Buy 3, get 1 free. All right, we've got that. And the other thing is, last night, of course, was the sprint. And I'm uber proud of this particular program because it is all based on research. And I don't pop programs out every 6 months or even every year. You know that. If you know me, I don't just keep popping out programs. This one was in the making for a long, long time. And I will tell you, if you were not there, this is your opportunity to go there. And even we've got some people who are saying, what was that link again? I want to go back and take notes. There is some truth bombs in there that will make your jaw hang open. And I want to get you on board. Okay. Thanks, Nancy. What a sweetheart. To have Nancy's support means everything. But I want to get you on board because Yeah, I'm interested in your waistline, but I'm also interested in your bones. I'm also interested in your muscle. I'm also interested in your vibrancy. All of these things go together. I'm going to show you exactly how they go together. And again, our programs are all customizable because I believe with all of my heart that one size does not fit all. And you will see when you go through this webinar. But I'm super proud of it. And I want you there. And I want you to be a part of this because on April 10th, we are starting as a group and doing this as a group. And it's going to be a two-week thing. And you'll understand because I have a phase 1 and a phase 2 kind of a situation. It's training is what this is. It's training you to see things just a little bit differently and, get on top of it. It's going to be epic. And especially with this group, you remember how good the March webinar was? It was fantastic. I mean, the March Hot Melt Sprint, it was fabulous. Well, this Ultimate Sprint in April is going to be that way as well. Plus, we added a Slack channel. I'm not in there yet, but I will be. I've got some computer issues I have to deal with first. And we have all kinds of stuff so that you have the support that you need. We are not going to leave you hanging. We look for every single person. We don't let anybody Irish goodbye us. We're there, right? This is how you get it. And the privacy factor, of course, is epic. So that's really great. We have a great quote this week. And boy, is this not appropriate. You can't wait until life isn't hard anymore until you decide to be happy. I mean, sometimes life is hard. I'm not going to lie about that. Sometimes life is hard. Sometimes it's really rough. Sometimes it's hard to get out of bed in the morning and feel good and all of that. But I'm going to tell you, you can decide, I want differently than this. This is not working for me. What can I do differently? And in order to get, and what does it say? To be is to do. This is what Socrates says to us. So to shift that, we need to do something maybe a little bit differently. It's so good. Isn't that such a good quote, Juanita? I love it too. I think it's just absolutely on the nose. So those of you who were there for the Ultimate Sprint webinar last night, pinkies up. Those of you who want to go there, it's easy. savingdinner.com/sprint. That's your link and it'll get you directly in there. Okay? Don't say I didn't warn you. And you're going to be getting extra emails about this all this week because I'm not going to stand by and let anybody not be a part of this as much as I can because I that much believe in what it is that we're going to be doing starting on April 10th. You know me. I usually don't say things like that, and I'm not doing a super duper hardcore press on this. But I just want you to see how important this is, especially if you are a woman of a certain age, shall we say. Hello, lovely Jane. Love to have you here. Helen's in the house as well. It's good. It's going to be a good day. So let's start this show off with then two things, two statements and two questions. And statements come from a quote from Robin Sharma that I absolutely adore that basically was, you know how you have those moments in time, you look back and you have those moments in time and you remember the first time you heard something or when everything just kind of clicked in. Robin Sharma's quote was one of those quotes. What you think about expands. And when I started kind of meditating on that and thinking that, well, I'm thinking all this negative stuff, if what I'm thinking about is expanding, then that's what's taking up my life right now, is all that negativity. So why don't I think about something different? And if I also believe that life is always working out on my behalf, how am I missing that? So those two statements really kind of wiggled me out of my comfort zone, which was pretty miserable, and it put me on a path for changing the trajectory of my health. I lost the weight, yes, but I also cleared up my skin. I also got rid of the thyroid nodules. There was one thing after the other that worked for me on my behalf and put me squarely on a path of healing and a path of purpose, I might add. Because, my healing is an important story to tell because maybe you need some healing too in your life. And maybe you don't realize just how super powerful you are. And that's part of the connection that we need to make with our mind, bodies, hearts, and souls, right? All of that works together for our own good when we understand how connected we are. And then I've got two questions that you want to ask yourself. What is the story I keep telling myself that's making me feel bad? And this is an important thing because, yes, we all have our stories, but when we put them on repeat and we get into even more detail and maybe we embellish it a little bit and we drag it on and keep saying it, our brains interpret that as we are reliving it, as we are going through it again. And your body converts back to the same chemical reactions that you get when you were actually doing it. So this is an important question to ask yourself because this creates a noticing of what it is that you're doing and not just putting things on repeat and not just going through the motions and doing the same old Groundhog Day over and over again. You all with me on this one? This is where, it's where the rubber meets the road, sisters. It's where the rubber meets the road, and it's where we become smart women. It's where the wisdom comes from, is when we stop for a minute, stop and think and take a look at what's going on. And then the other question is, the last one is will these thoughts help me create a vibrant life, or will they take me away from one? And if we ask ourselves these questions, then it puts us into the bare bones place of saying what the truth is. Oftentimes we tell ourselves an untruth to stay where we are. That's part of what the amygdala does. But if we are taking charge of our amygdalas and putting them in the place where we override our amygdalas, remember we shrink them as we do that, right? And we stop complaining so we don't shrink our prefrontal cortex. We talked about that yesterday. That puts us in a good place for getting our brains operational and not working against us anymore. Because when our brains are working against us, we just think that's the way it is. And it's not. That's all smoke and mirrors, y'all. That's all smoke and mirrors. So we're going to be talking about this because, every single day that we wake up, we have an opportunity to turn the page. And before your feet even hit the floor, you have an opportunity to embrace this day as a new day, as if it's January 1st, all over again. Rachel Anders said, the journey of a lifetime starts with the turning of a page. Absolutely truth. And we start the day with a clean slate. Usually, if we have a morning routine and a morning ritual that we go through, we've just meditated, we become aware of our breath, and we have gratitude for this little human container that we live in. And then if we add into it a willing heart, an amenable mind, and a longing soul, then we find ourselves in a place of an opportunity of learning. And it just comes and it parks basically right in the middle of our house. It's an amazing thing that happens because we have opened the door to possibility. And I will tell you this, that even with all of this, and even with such a delightful way to start your day, we still all have challenges, don't we? We still do. No one is exempt. And by the way, our lovely friend Joanne, that who has been here forever and ever and has not been here, dropped me a little Facebook message and said she hasn't been in for a while and lots of stuff going on and she needs prayer. So I just offer that to you because, we love our Joanne. So even as Joanne is going through this, she still recognizes that she has a challenge right now. She has a big challenge right now and she's not sure what to do. Guidance and prayer and love and community are what are going to get her, are the things that are going to get her through. So that's on all of us. And the thing is, one of the things that we have this tendency to do is this comparison game that we get into. Oh, well, her stuff is not as bad as my stuff. Well, at least you don't, or you'll hear people kind of batting about, well, you don't have little kids, so you don't have to, at least you don't have to deal with that. You don't have this, or you don't have that, or my stuff is worse than this. And I will tell you, none of us are to judge what anybody's challenge is or isn't. None of us are to say, my challenge is tougher than your challenge, or let's weigh and balance all of this stuff. It's not what that's about. It's about the love and the empathy and the way we as a community work with one another and embrace one another. That's what empathy is. And I believe that when we do this comparison things, we're bringing down the vibe and we're bringing down our age bracket and going into junior high comparison thing. Why do we do this? It's absolutely juvenile and it's asinine, right? It doesn't do anything. So when we acknowledge each other with empathy and with love in all of our flawed humanity, you know what we're doing? We are growing our collective love. And we really do see each other. We see each other in all of our flaws. We see each other with all of everything just hanging out and feeling awful, you know? But if you remember in the movie Avatar, my favorite things, I loved it when they said, I see you. Because I see you was akin to saying, I love you. And when we say I love you in human terms, not in movie Avatar terms, when we say I love you, it is what we're saying is I see you flawed, I accept you, and that is the whole premise of what love is, isn't it? In all our flawed humanity, that's the way it is. And this is beautiful because every single person on this planet wants to be seen in that way. Everyone seen, loved, accepted, and wanted. This is critical. This is how we roll as authentic human beings. That's vibrancy right there. And it's rare and it's beautiful. And it is just, this is what gives our community, I believe, that sense of togetherness, that collective love and genuine care for one another. What a gift, right? What a gift. And I'm going to tell you something right now, might blow you away, might make you go, what? But you need to get that also from yourself. You need to see yourself as being enough. You need to see yourself in your overwhelmedness and in all of the stuff that's going on and just trying to figure things out, as even in that place where everything's not perfectly lined up and beautiful, that you are okay and that you see yourself as who you are, authentically you, a beautiful soul, seeking vibrancy and seeking to connect with others seeking the same, right? That's how it is. So right now, just for this 1 minute, and if you're taking notes, I want you to write this down. I believe in myself is something that you probably haven't heard enough from yourself. I believe in myself. I believe in my wisdom. I believe in my intuition. I believe in my courage. I believe in the love that I have for other people. I believe in my empathy. I believe in my human beingness. And I believe that as I step out in faith, that vibrancy will meet me where I am. This is something that we can do for ourselves, for each other. And as we grow within, we are growing without because we are giving others the things that we've learned along the way. It's such a beautiful thing. This is how we continually lift one another up. You got to put your own oxygen mask on first. I was just on an airplane, just listen to that. You got to put your own oxygen mask on first. And I want to say this, that you do not need permission from anyone to believe in yourself. Nobody has to sign a permission slip and say, okay, here you go. Here you go, Lynn. Start believing in yourself right now. Just do it. You don't need anyone's permission. I want you to remind you of one thing. You are a grown-ass woman. You are in charge of you. You're in charge of every single facet of what it is that you're doing. You are. Are you going to show up for work today? Well, you're in charge of that, whether you do or not. Are you going to be in charge of what you eat today and what goes on the end of the fork? Yes, you are. You cannot blame shift your way out of taking responsibility for yourself. So when we start doing this and start recognizing the power that is within and that we have the power in our lives, then we can start becoming and being that authentic courageous woman that we've all been called to be, all of us. So to change, we accept first who we are, and then what do? We turn the page. We accept who we are and we turn the page. You know, you've heard my story about being in that dressing room, getting a new bra and getting clothes that actually fit. You've heard it. I accepted who I was on that day, and then I turned the page. And then I said, okay, now that I've accepted who I am, I'm on the starter block. I know where to start. I don't want to stay here. I want something different. I want to feel more vibrant. I want to feel lighter, literally lighter on my feet. I want to do something different. And I did. But we have to start there, right? So we also have to be looking at what is holding us back from creating the vibrant life that we all want. What is it? Because the fact of the matter is we can all have it, and yet not all of us do. So what is it? What do you think? What did I talk about yesterday? It's mindset. It is all mindset. It's the fixed mindset versus the growth mindset. You know about this. And the good news is we can fix a fixed mindset at any moment. We can fix that. We just need to recognize it and call it out for what it is. That's not going to do us any good, right? We think we're stuck. We are not. I want to remind you, you are not a tree. You can move about and go anywhere that you want to. It includes your doctors. You're not stuck with the doctor. You can fire him. You can go on and move on to another doctor. It includes everything in your life. It includes friendships. It even includes where you live. It includes your job. It includes everything. You have that kind of power in your life. I don't have to give it to you. You just need to recognize it. So what do we do? Let's look at some mindset things that we can do. Okay, number one thing to do: embrace your imperfection. Embrace it and just say, this is it. And not in the way that you go identify and just say, oh, I'm just I'm just screwy. I have a screw loose or whatever. But just say, okay, sometimes I forget this stuff, but I'm getting better at this all the time. We have to do this. We have to do it a little bit better than how we've been doing it. Not only do we have to embrace our own imperfections, we have to do this with our spouses too. Does your husband leave his socks on the floor? Pick them up and bless them and put them in the dirty clothes yourself. Dare you? I used to do this with my kids. I used to do it all the time because it put me in a place of not being that screaming, shrieking shrew. Pick up your clothes, do this thing, but blah, blah, blah. You kids are driving me nuts. I heard that growing up. That's not the childhood I wanted for my children. So I made I just absolutely changed it, shifted gears, and blessed their little dirty clothes as I put them in the laundry and treated all the grass stains and everything. Bless them. So glad they're outside. I'm so glad they're playing. I'm so glad they're having a great childhood. And every night when they went to bed and we said their prayers, I used to tell them, you are having the most amazing childhood. And one time I overheard my daughter talking to my son, and she's saying, what are you talking about? We had the most amazing childhood. Right? Because he was complaining about something, I don't know. But this is what we can do when we choose to. Number two is we can always choose courage. We know what it's like to shrink and to run because we don't want to confront. We know what it feels like to be scared, to be courageous. You have challenges in front of you. Every single one of you do. Do you? Or is it just me? I don't think it's just me. But every time I get this challenge in front of me and I start to whine and I start to cry and I start to go into a very negative space, I recognize that what I'm looking at as a challenge is actually an opportunity. It's an opportunity for me to step up and to be more authentically myself, to choose courage instead of this whimpering, whiny garbage, and to be the woman I've been called to be. Because if I'm here on purpose and for purpose, if I'm fearfully and wonderfully made and the apple of God's eye, what am I doing? Wasting my time with all this crap coming out of my mouth. I have an opportunity to choose differently. I have an opportunity to step up, to lean in, and to embrace this opportunity. That's how you become. Not the easy stuff doesn't make us that way. It's the hard stuff. It's the challenges. But sister, I'm going to tell you right now, those are opportunities if you choose to look at them that way. Number 3 is pay attention to your words and thoughts. Are they low vibe or are they high vibe? Just pay attention. If we notice, we can change them. If we go through the motions, we're just going to keep them on repeat, Groundhog Day, over and over again. You can change them. You change your underwear, right? You can change your mind. You change your paint color on your walls, you can change your mind too. You change the way that you do your hair, you can change the thoughts you think. It is that simple. It just means you're going to have to get used to a new way of doing things. And I'll tell you, when you get a new haircut or you do something new with your hair, whatever, it takes a minute to learn how to do that, doesn't it? It does for me. It does for me. You got to just change it. It is a simple thing, but it takes a little work. I'm up for the challenge, aren't you? Pinkies up. Of course you are. Number 4, this is your life. No one else's. You are not on a stage. You're not performing for your neighbors or your relatives or anybody else. You don't need approval from them. You do not need to crowdsource what it is that you should do next. You know already. You know already what it is you should do next, don't you? Of course you do. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are here on purpose and for purpose. You are the apple of God's eye. Don't get off your path of purposefulness. Stay the course and understand that this is your life. This is the hand you've been dealt. How are you going to play the cards? Number 5, respect yourself by being yourself. Don't be someone else. They're already taken. Don't try to imitate. It's not the sincerest form of flattery. It's bogus. Everybody can see through this. And start by being authentically yourself because it will help you to develop your growth mindset. It's exhausting trying to be somebody else. It's exhausting trying to keep up and compare. But when you are determined to notice your own self and your own stuff, and you correct the stuff that needs correcting, and you're into your own life, doing your own thing, you respect yourself and you are yourself. And you know what? Your friendships get better, your relationships tighten up, and people will see you for the real person that you are. And those who are meant to stay in your life will stay. And those that aren't, well, it's their loss. But who you are is important. Don't pretend to be someone else. Number 6 is to cultivate your purpose. Here on purpose, for purpose? Yep. Discover your purpose and allow it to go into full bloom. It will take cultivating, just like your flower garden does. It's going to take a little fertilizer. It's going to take a little water. It's going to take some weeding, lots of weeding actually. And it's going to be decision time on that when you're cultivating all of that stuff. And remember too, there are seasons in life. Right now, you might be the parent of little kids. Those little kids will grow up and you will be on the sidelines as a mother. So if your entire identity is wrapped up in mothering, it's going to be tough when you come along. It is. You need to recognize that, yes, this is if you're a good mother, you're going to work yourself out of a job. Your kids are going to grow up. They're going to be on their own. And you're going to be glad you don't have a 40-year-old kid living on your couch at home. They grow up, they lead their own lives. And when they're doing a good job of it, we can look back and say, I had something to do with that. That's kind of cool. But you are going to cultivate your purpose in this life, and it's going to go in seasons and things will change. Don't be shocked when that happens. Allow for it and allow for the unfolding of what that experience is all about. My time with my mother was some of the most precious, the most gut-wrenching, the hardest times I've ever had. Ever. There were times when I was on my knees crying. There were times when it just seemed so endless. And there were times when it was so lonely when she passed. But it was a time I would never give up for all the tea in China. It was one of the most precious times that I had, and it was purposeful, very purposeful. And she left peacefully, and I feel good about that. Number 7, strengths and weaknesses are a part of who you are. So focus and develop your strengths instead of focusing on the weaknesses. And those weaknesses that can be fixed, well, what can you do about them? But remember, don't just focus on those weaknesses and be, constantly changing all of that. Focus also on your strengths. So, like, I play a lot of pickleball. When you're playing a lot of pickleball, you want to be doing, hitting your strengths, right? But you also want to be working on your weaknesses. But when do you work on those weaknesses? You work on those weaknesses by yourself when you're drilling and hitting against a wall or hitting with a partner and doing certain skill sets, not in the middle of a game. You don't take that to a tournament and say, oh, I got to work on my weaknesses. You capitalize on your strengths. That's what we do in real life too. But the weaknesses will make themselves known. Allow for it, plan for it, start fixing them. It's not instantaneous. You'll never be perfect, but at least you're aware. At least you're noticing. Number 8 is lean into the process, because the process is your teacher. It's not about getting to the starting gate, just getting to the finish line with that flag going, well done, there's your goal, you got it. It's about what you learn along the way and how you dig into the authentic person of who you are. It's finding your strengths. It's finding how strong you are when you thought you didn't have anything more left in you. It is being that woman. And this is the thing that just changes the whole trajectory of our lives, because the process is the teacher. Number 9 is to learn to wait to answer till you're ready. How many times have you said yes to something and you wish, oh, I wish I'd said no? Or you've said no to something and you say, oh, I wish I'd said yes. Think things through and don't people please or think that you have to do something in order to fill in the blank. What is it to you? Is it a hell yes or is it a hell no? Allow for that. Allow for that and then speak the truth. Speak it in love. Nothing better than that. That's a clear conscience too. And then you're not sitting there mulling it over, thinking it over and thinking it over. It just changes everything. And number 10, don't you ever quit on yourself. Quitting on yourself is not an option if you are in a growth mindset. Quitting on yourself means that you don't believe in yourself, that you're not on your side, that you're not pro you. We all have moments where it just doesn't work. It kind of falls apart. And even in those moments when it falls apart, we can gather ourselves back together and put it all back together again. We are not Humpty Dumpty. Think about these things for a minute. The woman who you are supposed to be is already there. She just needs to be let out, and she needs a little bit more room to run in, and she needs you to approve of her and to love her just the way she is right now today. And when you do that and you say to yourself, I am enough just the way I am, then all of your goals, all of your dreams have a place to start. And until you do that, they don't. So love yourself. Be there for yourself. See your challenges as opportunities. And above all else, just remember that those who are really in your corner will always stay in your corner and will love you just the way you are right now today. And it's the most important thing to hold on to. And with that, I think we are done. All right. Well, thank you so much. It was a little bit of a long show today. Sorry about that, but I hope you enjoyed it. And for today, I will say goodbye and thank you so much for joining me. The announcements are at savingdinner.com/announcement. And I will also, announcements, I should say. I will also say that I expect you to go watch the webinar that we did last night, savingdinner.com/sprint. And I expect full cooperation in our ultimate sprint that starts on April 10th. That's Monday, April 10th. I'm going to give you plenty of time to get started. I cannot wait to see you there. Thank you so much for joining me. I so appreciate every single one of you. Thank you. Peace be with you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.